When your heart stops beating, you aren't actually dead yet, your cells are currently making a terrifying decision without your brain's permission. What scientists just discovered in the lab changes the definition of life forever, but the most disturbing part is what these cells do when they think no one is watching. By the end of this, you'll see why death isn't a wall, but a hidden door. We've been taught there is only light or dark, but there is a third state of existence, and right now, parts of you might be preparing for it, but first, we need to see the lab report. Clinical death is just a social construct, doctors call it at the final breath, but your biology doesn't care about the clock. Deep inside your tissues, a secret countdown has just started, and what happens at 0 is something no textbook ever mentioned. Scientists took skin cells from a deceased organism and waited. Usually, these cells should rot and vanish. Instead, they did something impossible. They woke up. They didn't just stay alive, they started to change, but the way they moved was the real nightmare. These dead cells grew tiny hairs called cilia to move around. They were navigating their environment like tiny motorized boats. They had no brain, no heart, and no instructions, yet they were acting with a clear, creepy purpose, and then they started to group together. This is what researchers call Xenobots. They are biological robots made from the scraps of the dead. They don't follow the rules of the original body, they have evolved into a completely new form of life. But how can something dead have the will to evolve? This discovery proves that our cells have a hidden backup plan. When the boss, your brain, dies, the workers don't quit, they actually become more creative. It's like a factory that starts making spaceships after the manager leaves, but this independence comes with a very dark price. In some cases, these cells can survive for weeks after the funeral. They are feeding on the leftovers of your biological memory. They adapt to extreme conditions that would kill a living person. This means your body is a graveyard that is still very much alive. We used to think the brain was the master of all life. If the brain is gone, the person is gone, but these third-state cells suggest otherwise. They possess a primitive intelligence that doesn't need a nervous system, and here is where it gets truly weird. These zombie cells started building structures out of their own debris. They were literally recycling their dead neighbors to build new tools. It's like a car crash where the pieces spontaneously rebuild themselves into a plane. But wait until you hear what they did next. Researchers at the University of Washington found over 1,000 genes that become more active after death. These aren't dying gasps, these are specific genes for development and stress response. Your body is literally trying to rebuild itself while you are being buried. Some of these genes are the same ones used to build an embryo. It's as if the body is trying to reset the clock to 0. It's a frantic, desperate attempt at a second chance, but without a brain to guide them, these cells go rogue. This raises a terrifying question about organ transplants. If the cells are in this third state, are they still you? When we move an organ, are we moving a piece of a living ghost? The legal definition of death is starting to crumble, and it gets even more complicated. What I haven't told you yet is the part that makes everything worse. These cells might be communicating with each other across the body. They use chemical signals to coordinate their survival. There is one detail nobody mentions, and it's the most important one. If cells can survive and evolve, where does you actually end? We define ourselves by our thoughts and memories, but if your cells are still learning after you die, are you truly gone? This isn't science fiction, it's the new frontier of biology. This third state could be the key to immortality, or a total disaster. Imagine a world where we can wake up your cells to repair damage after a heart attack. We could use the dead to heal the living, but there is a massive catch. These rogue cells don't always want to help. Without the immune system to check them, they can grow uncontrollably. They can become tumors that live long after the host has passed away. It's a biological rebellion that happens in the dark. Here's the part that sounds made up, but it isn't. Some researchers believe this state could explain miracle recoveries. People who were cold and dead for hours, then suddenly woke up. Their cells simply refused to enter the fourth state, total decay. We are currently living in the middle of a biological revolution. The third state challenges everything we know about ethics and religion. If a body is 50% active, is it still a person? The answer depends on who you ask, and the doctors are worried. Medical schools are now rethinking how they teach the end of life. They have to explain that the off switch is actually a very long dimmer switch. Your light doesn't just go out, it flickers and changes color for days. But what does this mean for your consciousness? Some theories suggest that consciousness might linger in these active cells. If the genes for development are active, maybe the feeling of being alive is too. It's a haunting thought that scientists are still trying to prove, but the evidence is growing. The solution to many diseases might be hidden in this third state. By studying how these cells survive without oxygen, we can save lives. We can learn to put the body into stasis for long surgeries. We are turning death into a tool. We are essentially learning to pilot the Xenobots within us. Imagine a future where your own dead cells are programmed to fight cancer. They would be the ultimate soldiers because they have nothing left to lose, but we must be careful. The line between human and machine is blurring. If we use these third state cells to build robots, are those robots alive? This is the messiest puzzle in modern science, and it's happening inside every one of us. One day, death might just be a temporary condition that we can reverse. We are finding the restart button in the most unlikely place, the grave. But the more we learn, the more we realize how little we know. Nature has kept this secret for millions of years. We used to fear the end. Now, we are beginning to study it as a new beginning. The third state isn't the end of the story. It's a new chapter where the rules of physics and biology finally meet, and the results are breathtaking. So, the next time you think about the end, remember the cells. They are the silent survivors who keep working when everyone else gives up. They are the reason death is not what it seems. We are finally learning to speak their language. The third state is the ultimate proof that life is more resilient than we ever imagined. You are a collection of trillions of survivors. Even at the very end, your body is fighting to stay in the game, and that might be the most beautiful secret of all.